This is American Mysteries. On December 24, 1945, in the small coal mining town of Fayetteville, West Virginia, nestled in the shadow of towering mountains, the Sodder family was preparing for Christmas. George and Jennie Sodder's two-story home was a beacon of warmth and cheer. With 10 children, laughter echoed through the rooms, mingling with the scent of pine from their freshly cut Christmas tree laden with handmade ornaments. In the days leading up to Christmas, the family had been busy as bees. Their 9-year-old daughter, Jennie, had crafted paper chains and doilies for the tree, while her brother Morris, who was 6, had whittled wooden toys for the younger ones. The anticipation of Santa's arrival had woven magic into the ordinary, turning daily chores into festive games and shared responsibilities. The unity and simplicity of their lives made the upcoming holiday even more special. Christmas Eve was particularly joyous. As dusk settled, the family gathered around their radio, tuning in to the Christmas story being read by President Franklin D. Roosevelt. The children listened with wide eyes and eager hearts, their imaginations painting vivid pictures of Santa's journey across the night sky. When the program ended, George turned off the radio, pulled his children close and told them stories of his own, tales of bravery and adventure that left them in awe. The eldest Sodder siblings, Mary, Catherine, and John, were tasked with caring for their younger brothers and sisters that night. 9-year-old Jennie wanted to stay up late to help, while 5-year-old Betty insisted she could stay awake longer than Jennie. After some gentle coaxing, they agreed to let the youngest Sodder sibling, 3-year-old Louis, join them. Together they tiptoed around the house, making sure everything was perfect for Santa's arrival. They hung stockings on the mantel, set out milk and cookies for Santa and carrots for the reindeer. Meanwhile, George and Jennie finished preparing dinner for their large family. The aroma of fried chicken, mashed potatoes, and green beans soon filled the house, creating an irresistible feast. Everyone gathered around the table, their chatter echoing with excitement and gratitude. After dinner, the family joined hands and bowed their heads in prayer. Jennie gave thanks for their blessings, for their health, for their home, and most importantly, for their love for each other. As the night deepened, the children's eyelids grew heavy, and it was time for bed. Before they drifted off to sleep, they exchanged small gifts that they had made for each other. Morris had carved a wooden car for little Louis, while Jennie had made a necklace of colorful beads for Betty. The love and care put into these handmade presents meant more to the children than any store-bought toy. Tucked safely in their beds, the children dreamed of sugar plums, toy soldiers, and magical reindeer. In the quiet of the night, George and Jennie made their way to their bedroom. Exhausted from the day's festivities, they didn't notice the ominous darkness that had fallen over the house. Little did they know that their peaceful lives were about to be shattered. At around 1 a.m., as the rest of the family slept soundly, a roaring blaze erupted in the living room. Flames engulfed the Christmas tree, licking hungrily at the ceiling. In a matter of moments, the entire house was a fiery inferno. George awoke to the sound of crackling flames and the smell of burning wood. Disoriented and confused, he stumbled out of bed, calling out to Jennie. Suddenly, he remembered the children. They were still downstairs in their beds. Adrenaline surged through him as he raced to their room. To his horror, the children were fast asleep, oblivious to the danger that lurked outside. George swiftly scooped up Betty and Louis, his heart pounding in his chest. Jennie and Maurice followed close behind, their faces etched with terror and urgency. As they fled the house, they could feel the heat from the flames searing their skin. They ran desperately across the yard, their footsteps pounding against the hard ground. Looking back, they saw the house enveloped in flames, its windows like glowing eyes staring back at them. George rushed to his truck to try to get the others out, but as he dialed the number for help, panic surged through him. The operator informed him that the lines were dead. He was cut off from the world. Desperate to save his children, he grabbed his ladder, but when he went to get it, it was gone. In its place was a pile of ashes. The ladder that he used every day to paint the house was simply vanished. He tried to flag down passing cars, but they didn't stop. They just kept driving. Every second that ticked by was another agonizing eternity for George. He ran to his other truck, his mind racing, trying to figure out a way to reach the children. But this vehicle, too, was struck dumb. Earlier that day, both engines had purred like well-fed cats, ready to be driven at a moment's notice. But now they were useless, betraying him in his time of desperate need. He felt a hand on his shoulder. Turning around, he saw neighbors and friends standing there, their faces grim, their silence deafening. George knew they understood the gravity of the situation as much as he did. With the ladder missing and the trucks refusing to start, there was only one thing left to do. George began to climb the hill behind their house. It was steep and rocky, but he scrambled up, determined to get closer to his children. He called out to them, his voice echoing through the night, a desperate plea that carried on the wind. But all he heard in response was the crackling of flames and the distant wail of sirens. As dawn broke, casting an eerie glow over the scene, firefighters arrived, their hoses hissing as they battled the stubborn blaze. Through the smoke and the chaos, George searched frantically for his missing children, but their absence was a gaping hole that nothing could fill. By morning, the fire was brought under control, but not before reducing the Sodder home to a pile of smoldering ashes. Amidst the charred remains, firefighters found no bodies, no bones, no trace of the 5 missing children. George and Jennie clung to each other, their faces streaked with soot and tears as they surveyed the wreckage of their home and their dreams. In the face of such tragedy, the community rallied around the distraught couple. Friends, neighbors, and even strangers offered their condolences, their words of comfort doing little to ease the gnawing emptiness in the Sodders' hearts. Yet amidst the sea of sympathetic faces, there were those who whispered doubts, those who couldn't fathom how 5 young lives could have vanished without a trace. Weeks turned into months, and the wound of the Sodder family's tragedy showed no signs of healing. George and Jennie refused to accept that their children were gone. They scoured newspapers with missing children's photos, hoping to catch a glimpse of their smiling faces. They wrote letters describing their children in loving detail and pleading for their safe return. Each unanswered letter was like a fresh stab to their already broken hearts. Then came the photographs. The first one arrived in early spring, postmarked from Kentucky. It showed a young man standing beside a car. At first glance, he looked ordinary, just another passerby. But upon closer inspection, the Sodders saw a striking resemblance to their son, Louis, who would have been 5 years old at the time the photo was taken. The boy in the picture appeared to be an adult, suggesting he had somehow grown up in captivity. Over the following years, more photos arrived, each one bearing the same postmark, and each one seemingly depicting Louis at a different stage of adulthood. There was Louis in uniform, presumably as a soldier. Later, he was seen with a woman, hinting at a possible marriage. The most unsettling image showed Louis as a father cradling a baby, symbolizing the continuation of the Sodder bloodline in a twisted, unknown family. These photographs were more than just pieces of paper with photographic images. They were cryptic messages, fragments of a puzzle that the Sodders desperately wanted to solve. What had happened to their son? Why had he been taken? And most importantly, where was he now? The case of the Sodder children became a national sensation, capturing the attention of newspapers, magazines, and radio stations across the country. People were divided, some believing the children had perished in the fire, while others championed the parents' theory that they had been kidnapped. The media scrutiny placed immense pressure on the authorities to find answers, but the deeper they dug, the more elusive the truth seemed to become. Throughout the investigation, strange details kept surfacing, adding layers of complexity to an already baffling case. For instance, the origin of the fire remained undetermined. While the house was supposed to have been destroyed in the blaze, some remnants stood defiantly amidst the rubble. Moreover, witnesses came forward, claiming to have seen strange lights and vehicles in the area around the time of the fire, but these accounts were often dismissed as unreliable. Even more perplexing was the behavior of the prime suspect, George's former friend and business associate. Rather than fleeing, he had stayed in town, offering his condolences and appearing cooperative. This unusual conduct raised eyebrows and fueled suspicion. As the years rolled by, the Sodders refused to give up hope. They held on to the belief that their children were alive somewhere, waiting to be found. They erected a billboard near their home, displaying pictures of their missing children and pleading for information. This iconic structure became a symbol of the enduring power of parental love and the relentless pursuit of justice. Today, the mystery of the Sodder children continues to baffle experts and laypeople alike. The case has inspired documentaries, books, and countless theories, yet no one has been able to provide a definitive answer. Was it a case of arson? Had the children been abducted by a sinister organization, or were they victims of a more personal vendetta? The truth remains shrouded in a thick fog of uncertainty. In the end, the Sodder children, a story, is a haunting reminder of the fragility of life and the tenacity of the human spirit. George and Jennie's unwavering dedication to finding their children, despite the odds stacked against them, is a testament to the depths of parental love. Whether the mystery is ever solved, the legacy of the Sodder children will continue to serve as a beacon of hope and resilience.